So, check this out, people. Why did I move to the Philippines? First of all, America isn't doing so well. Everybody knows the prices are high, rent is high, children don't play on the streets anymore. You don't see bicycles, you don't see kids skateboarding, roller skating, playing music, dancing. All of these things used to happen when I was a boy. I grew up on 139th Street in the Bronx back in the late 70s and early 80s. And so I was able to experience my youth in a way that I guess most youths today don't. And so when I look at the Philippines and I see children playing in the streets, I hear the music playing in the background, I see people sitting outside in front of their porches, their steps, and it takes me back to a time when life was good, when life was simple. And even though we were poor growing up in the Bronx, we were happy. And when I'm here in the Philippines, it reminds me of the same things. It reminds me of a time when, even though we were hungry, we laughed, we played, we ran the streets, and the children here are pretty much the same. Not only is it the same as it was when I was growing up as a kid in the Bronx, but the Philippines also reminds me of Puerto Rico. I was born in Puerto Rico. When my mother brought us to New York when I was a boy, I didn't speak any English. We only spoke Spanish. And my mother never spoke English in all her life that she lived in New York. And so at home, we only spoke Spanish. And when I'm here in the Philippines, a lot of the words that is in their native language of Tagalog has a lot of Spanish words. And so I'm able to understand certain things. And I'm also able to communicate with the basics. And so this place reminds me of a time when we had no toilets inside the home in Puerto Rico, where we had a minimum amount of running water, a simple sink in the kitchen where we brushed our teeth, did the dishes, and we had no running hot water. The water was cold, it was room temperature. And here in the Philippines is pretty much the same. It takes me back to a time when time was simple. The Philippines seems to be about 20, 30 years behind the US. But that's just in the basics. In technology, the Philippines is pretty much more ahead than the US. And so while I'm here, it's a feeling of being at home. It's a feeling of these memories of when I was a boy, when time was good. There's very little crime in this country, if any. You rarely see the police because really the police are necessary. People look out for each other. Everyone knows each other. And so when I first visited the Philippines, I was pretty impressed. The simple life, the simple ways, and yet these simple people are so friendly, very social, very inviting. And so it was easy for me to want to be around them, to want to be here longer. And so each time I went back home, I decided to return. And each time I returned, I stayed longer and longer. And so now, after some 5 or 6 years of coming to and from the Philippines, I decided to stay. And now the Philippines is my home. It's quiet, except for the barking dogs, which takes some getting used to. But that's just one of the things that I can deal with. After a while, you get so used to it, you don't notice them. Kind of like New York, where you hear traffic all day, every day, and after a while, you don't seem to hear it anymore because you've gotten so used to it. And so, this is Cavite. It's a closed community. It's one of those communities where they have a security guard out front, and you have to pretty much come through the main gate before entering the community. And so it's pretty quiet other than the barking dogs. It's pretty simple. They have everything you need in this community. You have grocery stores, or what they call sari sari stores. Sari sari means a little bit of everything. And so you're able to buy coffee, juice, soda, bread, and your basic necessities. They have small restaurants nearby. They have a market where you can buy your groceries. They have small restaurants where you can sit in the evening and just relax. Most of these places are open at night between 4 and 6 p.m. because it gets so hot that it's unbearable. It's almost impossible to sit outside during the afternoon hours. And so life here begins at 5 a.m. and between 7 a.m. to about 4 p.m. it's pretty quiet in the streets. And that's just because of the heat. But after about 4 p.m., 5 p.m., you will notice that the Philippines comes to life. That's when it's a lot cooler and a lot easier to deal with the heat. And so in this gated community, you notice the different style homes, the different style of design, right? That's one of the things I like about the Philippines is that if you own a home, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to answer to the city. They can't tell you how to build, how to paint. As long as you build up, then you're okay. You just can't build out. And with a permit, you can build as high as you can. Usually, most people will build up to about 3 stories. And it's rare if you see someone build up to 4 stories, though some people do. And so life here is simple. There's nothing better than taking a walk early in the morning, in the cool of the day, the early mornings when it's coolest. We have plenty of rabbits back home, but we don't have our roosters and chickens. One of the things you'll notice here in the Philippines is that Filipinos love basketball. There's a basketball court in every community, and basketball courts are always full, never empty. People here actually spend time in the streets, playing, enjoying themselves. That's something we've forgotten how to do back home in the US, where kids don't play in the streets. Kids are usually on their cell phones at home playing video games and don't know how to appreciate and enjoy friends outside in large groups. And so I miss that type of environment. And while I'm here in the Philippines, that's something I see a lot. And so it's easy for me to feel comfortable in this country where people are active, people are social, people are friendly, and there's very little crime. And so in this community located in Cavite, you can see the different colors of these properties, right? Every house is different, every house is unique, very simple, very basic. Most people here are middle class. It's rare when you see people who are rich. There are only two classes here, those who got it and those who don't. And so those who don't have it are really, really poor. And those who do have it are just living a normal life like everyone else. We don't have narrow roads like this, so this is.
You see that, like those houses has, the normally they work as a seafarer.
Who?
That's why they have this, the arch beside.
Oh, yes. Here in Cavite, I've noticed that it seems like I guess you would call this a province. The Metro Manila area is what they call a city or the city area. I guess Cavite is a province. There really isn't much going on as far as the city life. Life pretty much ends around 9 p.m., except for the karaoke. You will notice that it doesn't matter the day, it doesn't matter the hour. Karaoke has no time limit. It could be 2 in the morning on a Wednesday and you will hear karaoke. That's one thing that does not stop or end here in the Philippines. There is no time limit for that. But usually, most places in this city or province, life pretty much ends early and it begins early. What I like about this community here is that they have a gym nearby, which is well equipped, the market where you can buy your groceries, the small restaurants in the area where you can sit at night and just relax. They have a small cafe. They have transportation. So if you need to leave the community, if you need to go into the city, it's only about an hour and a half away. And it's really not hard to get to. The buses here are comfortable, they're air conditioned. And so getting around, getting to and from Cavite to the city is pretty easy. Which way do we go now, babe? Straight?
Yeah, we can go straight.
Did we pass through there already?
Yeah,
All right.
that's your house, right?
Yes, it is. Did we pass through? Yeah, we did. Now we can walk towards the restaurant, babe, because this is already 15 minutes. So I don't want to go too much because I don't know if I'm going to have enough space. But this is from my Bronx to the Philippines channel. So I can show people Cavite. I'm not gonna tell them the name of the palazzo because I don't want my ranch guys to find me.
Yeah.
uh, he got connection in the Philippines,
And he said her sister's
brother.
husband.
Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Everybody's so nice. That's why I love this place, man. I don't think anybody's as friendly as the Philippines. I mean, if I find a place friendlier than this, I'm gonna have to stay there. I don't think it's possible. I do not think it's possible. I like seeing these small vehicles where vendors ride around either collecting recyclables or selling merchandise. People here are so simple and so friendly. It's something that once you visit the Philippines, it's hard to leave. Unless you have a great career or a rich life back home in the US that you need to get to, it's almost impossible to visit this place and not want to stay. And since I've been retired for over 12 years, I own a small business. It was easy for me to leave everything behind and just transfer here. And so I've been here now for 2 years. 2 peaceful, happy, grateful years. Living in a place where crime is almost zero, where life is so simple and so inviting, so relaxing, so laid back, so stress-free. Hello. This is a dead end thing. I love the dead end. Kids can play, you can sit, watch your step. I didn't even realize that a place like this existed. It reminds me of a Walt Disney cartoon where in every corner there's a character and there's someone singing, kids playing. There's always something joyful going on. And this is what the Philippines reminds me of, a Walt Disney movie. It's pretty much a fantasy. I guess to the Filipinos who have never left the country, this is just everyday life. And when they meet an American or a foreigner, they always think that the foreigner's life is better than theirs. I don't think they realize how rich they are, how blessed they are. This is nice. Hello. Good morning. I've never seen people smile so much. I've never seen people laugh so much, celebrate so much, enjoy the company of others so much. It's really hard to believe that people who live this simple, people who are poor in this country, could smile so much, could laugh so much, can play so much. And back home in the US, we have so much, and yet we have more stress than the things we have back home in the US. One thing you could never buy, one thing you could never pay for is peace of mind. And back home in the US, we can pay for everything except for peace of mind. And here in the Philippines, I have peace of mind. Of course, there's stress everywhere you go, but the level of stress back home in the US is a 10 compared to the level of stress that I have here in the Philippines, which is a 2, if that. My stress levels are very, very low. My life consists of waking up in the morning, laying in bed for 10, 15 minutes, taking it easy before I get up, taking a quick shower, sitting at the table with my girlfriend and having breakfast, a homemade breakfast, going for a walk, enjoying the sights, the view, saying hello to people who pass by, strangers who always greet you with a smile, with a good morning, going to the local bakery and buying fresh bread, or going to the local meat market where they just killed a pig or a cow the very same day. And if you don't buy the meat by 11 a.m., it's considered old. Unlike back home in the US, meat stays fresh for about 7 days. How they do that, I'll never understand. I guess with all the preservatives we use back home, it's easy to think that 7 day old meat is fresh, when here, 7 hour meat is considered old. And so everywhere you go here, there's a vendor selling coconut, selling juice, selling water, selling ice cream, selling desserts.
You can come here at night, babe. Maybe tonight.
There's always something to do, there's always a restaurant to sit in, there's always new foods to try. The American dollar goes so far here in the Philippines. $100 here is like $500 back home in the US. With $32 a night, you can stay at a fancy condo with a full kitchen.
Babe, we're gonna get some eggs.
And so, if you're ever thinking about traveling, going outside the US, come to the Philippines. This is an amazing country. The people are amazing. It's beautiful, it's unique. If you want to see what life was like 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, this is the perfect setting for that. This is the perfect environment to see how people traveled, how people cooked.
But yeah. Only thing is driving around here is what makes me nervous. Not that I can't drive that, but the way I'm driving that I have a problem with.
The roads aren't always perfect. The sidewalks are broken and cracked. They're almost impossible to walk on. As you notice, there are always cars parked on the sidewalk. There's always some obstacles to get around when it comes to walking. Most people walk on the streets.
Alrighty, babe. We can go. Ready? You can walk back. We're gonna get some eggs, a tuna. I want some of that bread. Babe, I want some of that bread that we bought. I want some of that bread we bought
And then,
with eggs.
eggs,
Yeah, or
Okay.
tuna.
scrambled na lang.
Yeah, scrambled is fine, but we don't have tuna. I mean, we don't have mayonnaise. If we don't have mayonnaise, I
Let's
can't.
buy it. Ay, it might still close. Let's ask her in the bakery. Or
Yeah, do you want to see if they got here?
mayonnaise?
Yeah, ladies' choice. fine. It's better than nothing. Hello. Yeah. We get two. We get 2 minutes.
And then, isang century tuna po na steak.
And so this type of life takes some getting used to for those who are not familiar with the environment. And of course, when you come here from the US and you come to a place where not everything is so convenient, it does take some getting used to. But it isn't hard to get used to a place where the people are so inviting. And that's what makes a country. It's not the sidewalks. It's not the streets. It's not the car they drive. It's not the motorcycles they ride on. It's the people that makes the country. It's the people that make you want to return.
This is how people get their money at GME. $10.
Yeah. That's exactly how much they got left. $10.
Because he buy in last night and it
Yeah, that's what I got left.
so people get your money. Don't be like 10, 20. That's the reason why he's up all night. Because I thought he just want to see how much GME will slow down, but finding out this morning that he buy in.
This is why I left the US, where I had everything I needed. Didn't lack a thing. I'm retired. I own a small company, a one-man company, where I worked every day, 6 days a week, even though I didn't have to, but it gave me something to do. And here in the Philippines, I don't want to do anything. All I want to do is walk, meet new people, see new things. This is something that I can afford to do in this country. Back home, there isn't much to do. The American dollar doesn't go far in the US.
No, I buy one now.
What is this, coconut?
Kopya.
Coconut?
Here in the Philippines, for $1, you can feed 4 people. You can buy 4 eggs, 4 bread rolls, and 4 coffees, and it'll cost you about $1.20. And 4 people can have a egg sandwich with a cup of coffee. And for lunch, it'll cost you about $3. Unlike back home in the US, it'll cost you about $15 for the same dish. So life here is so much easier, so much simpler, so much cheaper. And I love the interaction with these small sari-sari stores. Everything is personal. You get to know the store owners. They get to know you. You're not just a customer. They treat you like a friend. They're always happy to see you. It's a totally different environment when you visit a grocery store and the person behind the counter knows your name.
Hello.
Hello.
That's something back home in the US that most people don't even know. You can visit the same grocery store for 5 years and the grocery owner doesn't even know your name.
Heard that?
Ma-
They call you Arabo.
What is that?
Arabian.
Everybody thinks I'm Arab here. Everybody thinks I'm Middle Eastern. I mean, when Columbus came to Puerto Rico, he thought he was in India, so I understand, you know. Good morning. I understand why they would think I'm Arab.
Because what will they know about
Oh, look, he's flying
Americans,
pigeons.
the white people?
He's flying pigeons. We used to fly pigeons back home in the U.S. I used to as a kid,
Yeah.
as a hobby.
Here they call you sir, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma'am. There's a level of respect. It's definitely a country that is growing, it's expanding, and just like back home in the US, you can have everything you need. They deliver everywhere. The Philippines is made up of 7,000 islands. And just like back home in the US, when you order through Amazon, Amazon delivers. Here in the Philippines, Shopee, Lazada, Alibaba,
Down this way, baby.
they deliver to all 7,000 islands. It doesn't matter where you live in the Philippines.
Further
If you need something delivered,
back. Is that okay?
they will deliver it. Every island has electricity, a local post office. Everyone has the opportunities to grow just like every other island in the Philippines. So, when you get tired of the stress of the modern world, when you get tired of the everyday hustle and bustle,
Hello.
when you get tired of the monotony, come to a place where life is different. Come to a place where life, everyday life, is different. Not 2 days are the same. Every day you wake up, you will wake up to something new, something interesting, a new face that will greet you with a smile, a new face that will light up when they see you, their curiosity about you, why you're in the Philippines, where you from.
This house is so nice, babe. It's so tiny.
If you ever want to experience a simple, quiet, well, I wouldn't say quiet because of the barking dogs. That's one thing here in the Philippines that you will have to get used to, and it'll take you some time to get used to. There are dogs and cats everywhere. And everywhere you go, everywhere you live, you will hear barking dogs, unless you live in certain areas where dogs may not be allowed. But here in the province, there are dogs everywhere. In Manila, in the city, and they are constantly barking. But after a while, you'll get used to it and you won't even notice them. So, come to the Philippines where people are nice, the air is warm, the days are cool, the evenings are cool, and life is cool. Thanks for watching. For exclusive videos, videos that are of adult content, videos that only members are allowed to watch, please become a member. It's only $5 a month, and it will help me to produce new and exciting videos for members only. Videos that are of mature content that I cannot and will not post for everyday viewers. Only those who are members will have access to these videos. It will help me out greatly and I will really appreciate it. Also, please subscribe to the channel and give me a like. Thank you. Oh, I forgot. The roosters will drive you crazy. And on this day, as I'm walking towards the building, I noticed there was a commotion, right? There were a bunch of guys surrounding another guy, and they were violently attacking him. My little brother at the time, who was about 15, was on top of a car, and he jumped on top of this guy who was on the ground, sprawled against he was sprawled along the ground, and his head was up against a car tire. And so my little brother jumped down from the top of the car, another car where he was standing onto, and he jumped on top of this guy's head. And I ran towards the this whole commotion. I ran to my brother and I said, Chiting, what are you doing? And he said, Yo, he shot David.